I'm recording this on the first day of the year to prove my points. New year, new me. Because why won't I be consistent when I'm literally starting from the first day of the year? Wait, gosh, where are my manners? Happy New Year, everyone. 2025 is our year. Let's make that money, get that bag. You know what? I've said this before, actually. Happy New Year, guys. This is the year 2022. Year to make that money, to get that bag. You know you've been postponing that vacation. You know you've been postponing that trip forever. This is the year to go get that bag so you can go on those trips. That was in 2022. And guess what? There was no bag or money made that year, but we move. This may or may not be one of my longer videos, but I just feel like I have to talk about it because why is everybody now a brand? Like, when did we all become commodities? What are we selling actually? But before we get into it, we have a sponsor. Yes, you heard me right. We have our very first sponsor on this channel. Today's video is sponsored by Banish. Banish is an American skincare brand that focuses primarily on acne scarring. I feel like we have a lot of products that tries to treat acne, but not so much on the little souvenir they leave behind. I have very sensitive skin, and I must say their formula is very skin friendly. That alone sold me for real. I've been on these products for about 2 weeks now, and my skin seems to not have any issues with it. They deliver anywhere in the world, and if you'd like to check them out, take a screenshot of my code on the screen for 15% off. Link in the description. Thank you, Banish, for sponsoring today's video. You guys should congratulate me in the comment section because it's not easy. Who is a brand? You see this word brand? I've been hearing about it so much lately. All these self-help gurus and motivational speakers, they've been throwing that word around too much for my liking. And I always come across it in those self-help books I rarely ever finish reading. So I wondered, like, why would an average person that probably works a 9 to 5 want to have a brand? Sometimes even as a student, like, yeah, their target markets, they will tell you, you should have a personal brand no matter what, no matter the stage of life you're in. And I'm not even going to lie, I've fallen down this rabbit hole before. Just take a look. I mean, like, that's basically the whole essence of the video. We're trying to build a brand here. So we need to take lit pictures. That was a picnic video, for God's sake. And here I am trying to brandify myself to go have a picnic with my cousin. Just imagine. Anyway, let's get our definition straight. That's the first point. So a brand is what comes to mind when people think about your name or logo. It's all about the perception. Let's play a game. What comes to mind when you see any of these logos or names? It took a lot of hard work and branding for these companies to get it right. And guess what? The branding is still ongoing. It's never ending. So in a sea full of fishes, how can you distinguish yourself? How do you become the pink fish? And it's not just about the brand's name or logo, which is the brand identity, but also the values, the principles, and the promise of the brand. All those things come into play. With all that's been said, branding seems to be a very important concept for big businesses and corporations to have, especially when you are dealing with a very large workforce, and it is very necessary to communicate in one voice. But what about now? Why as an individual do you have to have a brand? Like, are you 10 in 1 on something? Welcome to personal branding. 10 in 1 personality, but tie it neatly with a bow. The actual term personal branding was made popular by Tom Peters, a management consultant and author, in his article, The Brand Called You, for Fast Company magazine in 1997. He argued that in a competitive job market, Individuals have to market themselves like companies do. In his article, he says, "You are not defined by your job title and you are not confined by your job description. You are your own brand." And slowly after, everyday people started to buy into this allure and started to package themselves into a brand that we all call personal brand today. While the term personal branding just became popular in the late 1990s, its roots go way back. It used to be called reputation. In traditional societies, personal reputation often served the same purpose as personal branding does today. These days, to have a brand, you have to quite essentially niche down. And for multifaceted people like me, this can be very tricky. So rather than being known for several things and your main objective kind of gets lost in the mix, they say it's better to be known for one thing, or at least one concept or one space. For me, I definitely think I have a 10-in-1 personality, if not more, because I like to do so many things at once and I like to dibble and dabble in a lot of things at once. But according to the personal branding experts, it's better to be known for one thing, then you can now make yourself the brand, then start to incorporate other things. But let at least one thing come into mind before you can now start dabbling into other things so that it doesn't affect your brand. So going by this, I'd say in my previous videos, before I started to do social commentary, when I was actually throwing the term branding around anyhow, I was kind of scattered because I didn't have a niche and I was just uploading videos how I like, different videos. Unlike now that I'm being known for just this one thing, it seems like I'm kind of subconsciously building a brand here. What do you guys think? Am I actually building a personal brand for YouTube or at least social media? Or am I just clowning? The new age branding is perfectionism at best. Quite very recently, having a personal brand has gotten a very beautiful new face. Social media platforms like LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter has transformed personal branding into a necessity for professionals, influencers, and entrepreneurs. Suddenly, everyone now has access to a global audience, and it becomes very crucial to curate a very intentional, presentable online presence. The internet and social media has greatly influenced personal branding by giving everyday users access to the same branding tools used by big corporations and businesses. I'd also like to think the freelancers contributed greatly to this culture because somehow, due to their lack of a corporate safety net, the professionals had to treat their online presence as kind of a resume, almost selling out their skills in form of an advert. As time went on, industries became more and more competitive, and standing out required not just talent, but a carefully and intentionally curated presence online. Personal branding became a way to communicate your value proposition. Hello? Sorry, I'm recording my video. Chocolate. And is there gummy bears? Yes. Which one do you want to buy? Yes, please, if there's gummy bears and white chocolate chips. White chocolate chips. Okay, thank you. Personal branding became a way to communicate your value proposition in a way, and this has actually been proven to help increase or boost your chances in the job market. But what happens when this carefully curated cover becomes just a facade or even an overambitious lie? Your personal brand as a two-faced white lie. You guys know that I like to critique and challenge. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I promise you, I see and understand the good in all this. But, wait, no buts, no buts. Let's start a new sentence. The problem with making our entire lives a brand is that just like some of all those big corporations, we tend to be overly ambitious with it. And I know it's humans' innate behavior to put their best foot forward. But come on now. Some of these things are just a lie. Like, it's a stretch for real. Those LinkedIn jokes kill me. And it's also relatable because somehow we all over embellish things. There's also some inauthenticity that comes with it because at some point, the optics of how it looks online actually overrides the talent or qualification in some instances, or even conflicts it. Like, this old facade. Like, and it's not everything about you, but it's like, calm down. Calm down. Calm down. And honestly, I'm not one to talk. I promise you, I'm not one to talk. Because in as much as I try to present my most authentic self online, it can actually be quite hard. Because uniqueness is only celebrated when it is done right. It's a thin line between being unique and actually looking stupid. And I think that's why a lot of us just try to over embellish and also not stray too far from the norm. It's also quite funny because the whole premise of personal branding is just so that you can be unique and be distinguishable from the rest. Like, why is it so contradictory? I think I'm the one getting it all wrong. I think empowering or exhausting. Today, personal branding is as much a tool as it is a challenge, because at some point you start to wonder if all this is just one big performance, as is everything else on social media. You ask yourself if this curated online personas you put out is actually your true self, and if it isn't, should we try to separate our true selves from our online personas? Or should we try to merge them into one? I'm confused. I'm actually tired. You guys can see how exhausted I am trying to make this video. It's crazy. Can we go back to when life was much simpler? Anyway, I feel like having a personal brand can be very empowering if you're intentional about it and it is true to yourself. Authenticity is very key. On the other hand, it can also be very exhausting, especially when you try so hard about it and it is somewhat aspirational. It is not who you are. It is who you aspire to be, but it is not who you are, and you're not there yet. So, I think we should just all be authentic. Like, just, in as much as you want to over embellish, try to also stay true to yourself and be authentic. Personal branding isn't going anywhere anytime soon, but perhaps the key is to create a balance. At its best, it could be a very efficient way to communicate your story, but at its worst, it could also come off as a performance. But you decide though. What do you guys think? Let's have a conversation down below. See you guys later. Bye. Okay, so I'm on vacation right now. Or will I call it a staycation? So if you hear anything in the background, that's I'm at a hotel, so I can't necessarily control the music or whatever background noise you guys can hear. And you guys also have to try to help me make do with this. So yeah. It's all about perception. Who is that idiot? Who is that idiot? Who is that idiot? Who is that idiot? You guys know that I like to critique and challenge. I'm sorry, I can't help it. There's also some inauthenticity. Inauthenticity.